Yeah, I think it took me a week or two to pluck up the courage to join, because as you know, I'm not very confident in much. But then, yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the best things I've done.
Welcome back to the Lose to Win podcast with myself, Josh, and Ben is back this week.
Hooray!
Nice to have you back, Ben.
Hey!
And apologies to everyone for having a week off. It did feel a bit like a week off anyway.
An impromptu week off.
I say thankfully. Yeah, well, yeah, it was just an unfortunate mix of events, which meant that no one's particularly available to host the podcast, and
makes it difficult.
I didn't feel comfortable drafting in a lot of people who maybe aren't particularly comfortable themselves with it, so to run it. So we've missed a week, obviously, of our Man v Fat Bournemouth in the meantime.
We have, yeah. Apologies, but we'll catch up with it. We'll catch up because last week was the last week of the season.
Indeed, it was indeed. We'll get to that, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's strange that it's already a season gone by. I think we were just discussing this, weren't we, before we came on? About how it's 14 weeks of a season have flown by.
It's completely flown by, completely. So yeah, very, very strange. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it was over summer holidays and a lot of people were away and missed a few weeks, and I guess it goes quite quickly. The summer feels like it's flown by, and the summer holidays, of course, for people with kids, that just flies by. So maybe that's why, I guess.
Yeah.
But an eventful season.
Indeed. How have you been anyway, Ben? How has your season been? We should probably go through that then.
Oh gosh, let's open that can of worms. My season, from a weight loss point of view, awful. Ended up finishing slightly heavier than I started, but I was away for like 4 weeks of the season, 3 of those weeks being, sort of holiday weeks. So I don't see that as a massive bad thing, because I put on about 4 kilos over the holidays period and I managed to lose most of that. So while I have put a little bit on, I haven't gone bonkers, and I'm ready to reset, ready for the next season. I think the summer was always going to be a difficult one. For a lot of people, and I think that's actually reflected in our weight loss figures. I think across the club, if you look at how much we lost or haven't lost, I think that's a reflection of that time period. So I'm certainly not alone in that. So I'm not overly disappointed. Like I say, I ended up ever so slightly. I think I'm about 0.8 of a kilo up on my start weight, so not horrific. And I'm, like I say, I'm ready to reset and go again. But I had a lovely summer, mate. I had a lovely holiday, well needed, and I visited some family last week, which is why I wasn't here, so my apologies. But you need to do those things when you can, so it's important.
Absolutely.
But how about you, buddy? How was your season?
Yeah, so similar to you in that, from a weight loss perspective, not very good. I actually
you did have Vegas in there.
Yes, I know I went to Vegas, but the thing is, that was the first 2 weeks of the season.
Right.
So I went to Vegas for the first 2 weeks, missed 2 or 3 weeks of Man v Fat.
Yeah. Came
back, close to a stone heavier.
Over.
I was.
Yeah, that's
close.
That's
very close.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's all we were talking about this before. I was talking about with some people. It's all the sugar in the sauces and things like this you get in everything. It's just insane. Anyway, I don't think my body was expecting it. But then the problem is I've really struggled to get a lot of it off.
Right.
This season I have been up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
And I got some traction for a while, went back down. And then admittedly, there's something else which I won't go into has meant that I've gone back up in the last 2 or 3 weeks. But so I felt like on a roll in terms of keeping myself well, but it's more in terms of an overall weight loss, not particularly good. So I think I finished the season, 3 or 4 kilos up basically on my last season, which is not great.
But that's why it's good to reset and go again. Yeah.
And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if I came to week 1 and I'll be back down close to where I started last season.
Good.
So it's been good so far, the last couple of weeks anyway. Looking forward to starting a new season. But in terms of a Man v Fat overall perspective, we mentioned overall the summer's difficult, so it's not been a spectacular season. but there have definitely been some strong individual
yes.
seasons.
Oh yes.
Very strong. I
Yeah.
think some record breakers in there are a
I think
couple,
so.
I think.
Yeah, definitely.
One in particular comes to mind. So I think maybe we should come into that and kind of round up what
I
happened
agree.
the
Go
last
on,
week.
hit us up.
I
Hit us
should
up.
say, just before we start, that me and Ben are expecting a guest today. But
They're
anyone
on
who
their
knows
way.
anything about Man v Fat Bournemouth will know immediately who it is. When I say the timing isn't brilliant, we're gonna find out if he turns up or not, basically.
Yeah, watch this space.
But we are expecting him.
Yeah, so it might be, it might not.
His name is invoked quite often in the captain's chat as a kind of a disclaimer. It's almost like a rule, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is the name you slap on it if someone is 50-50.
We'll leave you hanging on that, and if he turns up, you'll know exactly who it is.
Yeah, so we are expecting him, and when he does join us, then we'll get something out of him for a good half an hour, hopefully, to end the pod. But moving on to our last of the season, Man v Fat Bournemouth roundup. It was one of the closest fought seasons in the club's history.
Yeah,
really. Ended without a final twist, which was a shame. But
it was.
As the all-conquering Blacks added the Pitch League to the Scales League, I should say, to their main league title, and secured a treble this last week. So
Very
congratulations
good.
to the Blacks, we should say, from the start for a phenomenal season.
Yeah, well done.
They really did smash it. And to be fair, they were up there for the from the start of the season, from the early weeks. Yep. And then us Yellows and the Blues and various other teams kind of chopped and changed for a bit throughout the middle of the season. And then the last few, their consistency has really told. So congratulations to them on securing all three. Very well deserved.
Congratulations, boys.
Season.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. The Blues themselves did give them a run for their money, though, enjoying a 7-goal Scales win that last week. So, but unfortunately for the batting Blues, the Blacks edged the goals on the Scales win themselves to secure that title
against us
by just 5 weight loss goals.
Yep.
For that one on goal difference. So I'll just round up the results for the last week. The Blacks beat the Purples 12-9.
Yeah, boo. It was a good game, though. It was a good
game. The Whites beat us Yellows 7-5.
Oh, boo.
The Blues beat the Oranges 15-7.
Oh, boo. That's an effort, though, isn't it, for the last game? Well done, Blues.
Exactly, yeah, very well done. Title chasers.
That's a real
very good effort. And then the Greens won 10-8 against the Reds.
Well done, Greens.
In the last week.
Yeah, well done.
I have to admit, it's already been wiped. So knowing the specifics, how the table finished, and things like that, I'm going to have to go back and check, and we'll come back to that in a kind of mini special that we'll probably do next week when we go through some of the awards and our own awards as well.
Yep.
Because I'll admit freely, this is not something I have fully been able to prepare for in this time.
There have been other pressures, mate. It's fine. It's fine.
For the club as a whole, on the weight scale side, it was a small backward step with a collective gain in our final week of 2.5 kilos, but that's nearest makes no difference. Break even.
Yeah.
And 4 of the 8 teams managed to lose weight, with the Greens leading the way with 4 kilos and 6 out of 7 players losing. Blues were close on the heels with 8 players losing weight and a team total of 3.7 kilos. And Oranges and Purples were the other teams to move the scales in the right direction.
Yes.
Yeah. There was one final milestone to round out the season, with Liam Dancer rounding off a fine season by joining the 5% club and earning his Greens a last day win against the Reds, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
Liam is also one of 8 players to finish off the season with a hat-trick.
Well done,
So
mate.
I will actually read them this time. So that's Ant Skirman, Connor Skirman, Josh Buxton, who has lost all 3 weeks he's been here.
Well done.
And quite a substantial amount of weight. For his sake, I should say.
Is that Josh on the Blues?
Yes.
Yeah.
He lost, I think he lost something like 4.4 kilos in his first week.
Wow.
Then he comes back and loses like 2.6 or 2.7. And then this last week, I can't remember precisely, unless his name. Oh wait, his name is in Team of the Week. He lost 1.6 kilos as well.
Wow.
My maths isn't fantastic, but I'm definitely can confirm that's over a stone in 3 weeks.
Wow.
In fact, it was pretty much a stone in 2 weeks. Since he's in the 2 weeks he's joined.
Yeah.
So it's
fair play, lad.
very impressive.
He's going to be hitting it next season. Then he's a blue, right?
Yeah.
So blues are.
He is indeed. Yeah.
Good lad. Well done, mate.
I just want to say, well, hopefully I'll forward this pod to him so he can listen. But just congratulations, Josh, on the great weight loss in joining. I could see the excitement on his face basically whenever I spoke to him on the sideline about it every time. He's thrilled to tell people about the weight he's lost, and quite rightly so.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely brilliant. So I'm glad he's enjoying it. Then we have Mark Simpson, Tom Davey, Liam Dancer, who we mentioned, and
well done, Liam. Well done.
Luke Cage and Kevin Crago, who rounded off with hat tricks this last season.
Very good, boys.
And Matt Waterman, Peter
Super
Meek, and John Costa all lost weight this last week, meaning they have all completed last man standing undefeated.
Which is
that's 14 weeks
fantastic.
Of weight loss. Admittedly, there are grace weeks in there, but even 13 out of 14 is mightily impressive.
Yeah, incredible.
For Matt Waterman, he is the overall winner though, because he was the one who went without using his grace week at all. So 14 straight weeks at any point. In fact, I don't think, as we mentioned having him on the pod last time, he hasn't gained a single week at all since he's been there.
Every single week, and he has done the unthinkable, the unimaginable in losing and hitting 4 milestones in one season.
I know, which isn't mentioned in his report, and we really should, because
that's nuts.
That is insane. I think you said he did his 5% day one, but even so,
week.
He's gone through 5, 10, 15, and 20%.
Yeah.
In one season. So even if it was 15% in the season, that's incredible.
It's mad.
Absolutely incredible. I don't think anyone's done that, have they?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Steve would be the one to tell you about that. But I genuinely, having been here since the beginning, I don't remember anybody hitting 4. I can't even remember if someone's hit 3. I know people have hit 3 because I know people have carried them over, but definitely never 4. I mean, that's just nuts.
Yeah. So huge congratulations, but kind of more praise should be heaped on, because it's mainly that he's the amazing loser as well.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, we should say
that
he wins the amazing loser for the biggest percentage loss of a season with an unparalleled 16.91% lost
crazy
in a season, which is, as you just said, crazy amounts of weight. And Jordy, we should say, was in second place with 10.32. So well done to Jordy.
Yeah, amazing.
Very well done. Top scorer was Chris Cowan. With 19.5 goals, with Matt Waterman, Luke Hayter, and Dave Danley on 17 goals. So even Matt Waterman was there, close again.
Well, do you know what the interesting thing about that is? Chris and the other 2, Luke and Dave, are all maintenance boys.
Yeah.
Matt's the only one that's done it on weight loss alone without getting those extra goals. So, I mean, that just says it all.
He doesn't get the bonus percentages for his 2 that carry over.
No.
So if I'm correct in thinking, he'll start the season as top scorer.
Yeah.
7 goals or something.
7 goals.
6.
So if he turns up every week and with those 2 milestones, he'll stay top scorer. But at the same time, if someone stays in maintenance the whole season, they will beat him. And that's why we've said there's that disparity there. But
yes. And we've mentioned this in person to Richard, haven't we? On a couple of occasions. We have. And did we ask him when he was in the podcast about that?
No, I don't think so. But they do know that there are kind of disparities in the way that it works. But it's kind of, I don't think they really look at it as sort of intensely as we do in working out sort of what works and what doesn't work. I think it's basically the incentive. The whole thing is obviously the weight loss, so they're sort of concentrate on that. They don't necessarily, and the sort of trying to keep it even and keep it fair across the whole thing, so they don't look at the kind of minutiae that we sort of delve right into. So I think there's something to be said for that, though, because it has come up, and maybe because of their own success, people stay on when they're in maintenance, because people find it more, really important from a, being part of a team, being social, it's good for, like we've often said, good for mental health. So people are staying on because it's kind of like a social club and a club, and you have that kind of responsibility. Whereas before, I think the philosophy behind it was you stay in until you get to maintenance, and then you stop the program because you don't need to lose any more weight. I think that's kind of the original thought process. But obviously now people are staying on longer because of it, because it has its extra benefits. Maybe that scoring process needs to be rethought for people that stay on past maintenance and just because they want to stay. So it's changed, it's evolving, isn't it? So I guess you've got to evolve the kind of rule and the scoring system with it to suit the needs of the members. Maybe don't know if they're listening, which they might be. Think about it, boys.
I would say though, this does not take away from the excellence of Luke Hayter and Dave Durney in particular, who've gone all season in maintenance, and then Chris Cowan, who made it to maintenance.
Absolutely. You can't take it away from those boys.
It's been, and that in itself, I think they won't be the first to admit it because they're humble guys, but they that it's not necessarily getting to the weight, it's staying at that weight.
Well, I had a good chat to Chris.
Particularly,
had a good chat to Chris last week about it, and he was saying exactly the same thing. It's so difficult to stay in, so difficult. And Dave's been the same as well. I haven't talked to Dave at length about it. So no, absolute kudos. I mean, crikey, I'm not taking anything away from those boys, because I would love to be in maintenance and have to have the ongoing problem of staying in maintenance. But I think it gets easier. I definitely think Dave's started to find it a bit easier. Because I know he struggled when he first hit it, because I think it's quite easy that once you hit it, you go, yes, I've done it, and then you relax, and then all of a sudden you put a bit of weight on and you go, oh Christ, I'm out of it again, and it takes you time to get back down again. But I think Dave's kind of got a bit used to it. I know Chris was struggling because he started running a lot and he hurt his ankle, and then he couldn't run some more. So I mean, absolute outstanding. And to have as many people in maintenance as we do in the league, I think is testament to how good our league is and how well people do. So absolutely not taking anything away from those boys. I think they're amazing. So congratulations all. I just wish I could score as many goals in top scorer.
Yes.
Well, I did win top scorer once. I did it in the second season. That was me.
Wow, got a notch on me then. That's my aim this season. Well, maybe not to win top scorer, but to really push through a barrier. I'm quite keen on, I think, the amazing loser for losing biggest percentage. That I think I've got enough percentage to lose as such.
Well, as long as you do it sustainably, mate.
Yeah, I don't think 16.91% is potentially. It's quite an ambitious target, I would say, which makes Matt's.
It's very scientific, though. I was talking to him on Friday, and I know we had him on the pod, and we talked endlessly about the way that he has done it with calorie counting and stuff. But it's very scientific. He's approached it in a really scientific way, and I think what's a real bonus as well is that he is a real foodie. So he cooks a lot, and he's interested in food. So that helps him because, he knows what he's putting into his food, and he knows, he's getting really good at the calories of what things are, and he knows what things go well together to make really nutritional but tasty stuff as well that fills you up. So he's done it a really scientific way, and I've urged him to put all this stuff into the chat. And since our conversation on here, he has done that, and I know he's helping the lads. So, I've suggested he does it to the wider community to try and. I'm not saying that everyone should do what he's doing, but it is worth a try. If you're struggling and you've tried lots of different ways and it's not working for you, give it a go. Because I'm doing it, and so far so good. I think it's going okay. We'll find out in the next few weeks because it takes a while to get into, but certainly finding it beneficial. So yeah, kudos. Anyway, that's enough blowing sunshine up his arse.
I'm sure he'll love it, mate. Anyway, we should just say Ollie Wentworth rejoined which is
Came back. He's back.
Came back from a week off, and he's back with a vengeance, losing 2.1 kilos to lead this last team of the week of the season.
Well
The
done,
only
mate.
player, as we mentioned, to retain his place is Josh Buxton, making it
Well
to the
done,
team for the
Josh.
third week running.
Yeah.
And he only joined us 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, brilliant.
So every week he's made team of the week as well at every possible opportunity.
Love that.
Yeah. The lineup is as follows then. Ollie Wentworth with 2.1, Liam Dancer then with 1.6, and Skirman with 1.6, Josh Buxton with 1.6, Jogs made it there with 1.3.
What? Now there's a name you don't see in there very often.
Yeah, Rob Hodge with 1.2.
Robbo as well.
Yeah, I know. Dan Dancer with a kilo, and Barnaby with also a kilo.
Brilliant. Barney, he's kind of there or thereabouts. He's been progressively losing it, hasn't he? Well done, lads. Really good. And the last week of the season as well, so that's some testament, because quite a few people do take their foot off the gas, and to lose those sorts of numbers in the last week of the season is brilliant. Really good.
Yeah, very, very good. So a huge congratulations to the Blacks on completing their clean sweep of titles, and well done to all the teams who pushed them all the way. We lost less weight than in the last couple of seasons, although summer often has that effect, we should say.
Mm-hmm.
And an overall loss of 141.5 kilos is still an excellent achievement. Overall.
I would say.
Yeah. Let's not forget then, between us, we've lost the equivalent of 3 Kylie Minogues, that's what I'm going to say, in the last 14 weeks. And with next season finishing just before we hit Christmas, there's another reason for us to aim for a significant improvement next time.
Yeah, I think this one could be a good one. Could be a good one, mate.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I can't remember personally. I've been here long enough now, but the autumn season tends to be pretty decent, I think.
Yes.
The spring one probably the best, but the autumn tends to be quite.
I think autumn, yeah. I think it's the best. It's the most time where people are consistently there for a start, because summer holidays have gone. Yes, we have half term and sort of Halloween time, but that's not a big drain on most people, and it finishes just before Christmas. So I think it would be an absolute killer if it had finished. If our last week had been the week after Christmas. That would have been highly entertaining to see what the figures were coming back from Christmas. But I think the reality there would be that there'd be no own goals, because you don't get any own goals after Christmas. So that would have been quite amusing to see if that had been the case. But I think we're quite lucky in the way that it's fallen, that we start not this week obviously because we're having the awards, but the following week, which takes us literally up to the start of Christmas. So I think we're going to have a good clean run of it. I think there'll be good, quite high numbers in attendance, which will be good for scales. And I think the teams are nicely balanced from a pitch point of view as well. So I think we'll get some good competitive games as well. I think certainly on the pitch point of view, I think it's been the most evenly contested season. Would you agree on the pitch?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's difficult to judge, like compared to other seasons, but I think it's been
every game's tough.
Every game
is tough.
Yeah. I think I can't remember. I definitely cannot remember ever coming off the field once. I mean, this has always been the case, but in particular this season, thinking, wow, like we've done, like we've really thrashed someone, or we've been thrashed. Like there's not really there's none of that really. It's always been close.
No. I think I did worry our first game. We played Reds in our first game, and they only had 6 players, and we got pumped. I think we got pumped like 4-0 or something, 3 or 4-0, something like that. And I was slightly concerned at that point. Yeah. I thought the Reds were pretty awesome. And to be fair, they've fought and they've done well all season on the pitch. They took the Blacks to the wire on that front. So
and the unfortunate nature of that is, and the same with a couple of other things, is that we're losing a couple of players.
We are.
League. Indeed.
We are.
Will make a pitch difference. I know that.
Yeah, it will.
I don't know if they're comfortable with me saying who they are, so I won't go into it. Just
name them. Name them.
I'm sure they'll name themselves. But I just know that there's a couple of people who we're going to sorely miss across the league. They'll still be involved midweeks, I'm sure, but in particular on Fridays, I know we won't see them. So But we've had a
sometimes.
healthy influx of new players as well, so we're not
Yeah, well, I was
particularly
going to say,
lost anything in terms of.
no, the names you're giving out on
numbers.
weight loss there are new. A lot of new guys in there, which is brilliant. It's great to see. Yeah, and there's quite a few new faces turning up now. It's quite cool. It's like when I was off for a few weeks over the summer and then came back, it felt like the first day at school, because I've been away for a bit, and there were loads of new faces as well, and I was like, oh, it all feels a bit weird. But that's good. It's good to get fresh blood in. Good to get new people in and spreading the word. So yeah, good luck. It's good luck to everyone. All the new lads who've joined. Good luck.
Yeah. So our guest is still not here, and we're not sure if we're expecting him. We are expecting him.
We're hoping.
I'm confident. I'm hoping he's here.
Oh, hang on.
Guess what? Oh, wait a second. Is that him?
I can't believe it. Is it? Could it possibly
It might be him. He's just appeared, but we're not sure. Yeah, he's muted.
He's unmuted now.
There we go.
Oh,
Hey!
who is it?
How we doing, lads? You okay?
Yeah, good.
Jordy.
Nice to get you on, mate. Yeah, and I can tell you're in the car.
Yeah. Do you want me to? I can take it off the hand free, see if it's any better.
Oh, I mean, hard to tell, mate. But...
Is that better?
It is.
Yeah, that's
can you
loads
hear
better.
us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Fine and dandy.
Oh, mate, you're clear as a bell, sunshine.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And that was perfect timing because we literally just said we're waiting on our guest and we're going to move into something else. And then guess what? You appear.
There we go. It's as if it was set up like that, eh?
Buddy, whereabouts are you in our delightful countryside right now?
I'm actually just come back into Bournemouth now, to be fair.
Oh, fair play, fair play.
After being stuck on the A34 for 3 hours.
Oh, mate.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Oh, you have such a life, mate. I mean, this happens to you quite a bit, doesn't it? I would say.
Yeah, well, my job is driving, isn't it? So, kind of can't be avoided sometimes.
Fair enough. Well, we're thrilled to have you on for the time that we have. So welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
I know I've been looking forward to this for a long time, to be honest.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind. We're just going to crack straight on in the time we have and ask you some questions, mate, because
fire away.
That's what we're here for. We're going to dispense with the football questions because we usually do a football introduction. Are you a fan? Who's your team, etc. Things like that. But in the interest of time, we're going to crack on with a bit of Man v Fat specific stuff.
Yeah, that sounds good to me, mate.
Yeah, my very first question to you, simply put, is for the audience: how did you get involved? When did Man v Fat become a thing in your life?
Well, it was actually Bill that got me involved in it. I didn't know nothing about it until Bill joined, and then obviously he told me all about it. And then I think it took me a week or two to pluck up the courage to join because, as you know, I'm not very confident in much.
Mate.
But then, I mean, it's probably one of the best things I've done.
I was going to say, I thought you were first. You were there in the first season, weren't you? Because you were.
I think I was season 2. I joined.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were an OG.
Well, to give you an idea, what we're on now, season 11. We're going into.
We're going into season 11, yeah. So
yeah, I'm sure it was season 2. It might have been season 3, but I'm pretty sure it was season 2.
Fair play, mate.
Fair play.
Fair play.
So when would that be then? Season 2? When was that, like, roughly time-wise? 22? Is it?
Beginning of 22.
Yeah, something around there.
Yeah,
I would assume. Oh well, so
I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but my memory's bad. So, but I'm sure it was around then. Anyway, it was around then.
Yeah. So I know you said Bill got you into it, but what made you think? Did you ever sit there and think, "Oh, this is a good idea. I should join"? What made you kind of change your mind? Not change your mind? What made you make that jump to do it then?
Well, it's just the whole idea of the whole program is just brilliant. You know, like you don't want to go to Weight Watchers to really man. I mean, fair play if you do, but not for me. But the idea of playing with your friends, having the rewards for losing weight. Am I back?
You are
in and
kind
out.
of, yeah, you were moving in and out. I'm not going to necessarily ask you to repeat yourself because I kind of roughly got it, but
Well, yeah, I
you
think
might have to a little bit.
Well, yeah, basically, it's just, you get to
Just
play football with a great bunch of and lose weight while doing it.
Fair play, mate.
fair enough,
Well,
mate.
I think it's safe to say that you have done exceptionally well over the last few seasons. Did it go well for you from the beginning, or have you hit rough patches, or how have you found it over the sort of 9
No,
seasons you've
it's
been?
never really never really went that well for me, to be honest. This is sort of my first season of really giving it a good go.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is definitely the most weight I've lost in one season. I mean, I was doing ups and downs, and mainly more ups than downs.
Right.
But yeah, so this season I've really tried to give it my all. I mean, granted, I'm going on holiday in a couple of weeks, so that's probably why. But at the same time, I was also getting rather large and thought I actually need to crack on with this.
Well, you had a decent. Did you not have a decent season last season? Because I know, Steve, when we talked about the season, the end of season, you were always on the. I know you didn't. It was difficult for you to turn up every week because of your work, but every time you did turn up, you were in team of the week and you'd lost a couple of kilos or whatever. So
Yeah,
it must have started last season.
I think what that was though is I wasn't turning up for like 3 or 4 weeks at a time.
Okay.
Okay.
When I turned up,
Yeah.
obviously the weight loss looked really good, but it was. I mean, it's probably still okay.
Well, you were losing weight, so
Yeah.
it's got to
Yeah.
be good, right? Going in the right direction rather than the wrong direction.
Yeah. Josh knows me really well, mate. If I'm not hitting kilos plus a week, it's not a good week.
I know. We tried to get you out of that, mate. Small losses are good. If you can lose kilos a week, brilliant. Don't get me wrong. So long as it's in a kind of a healthy manner as such, as long as you're not starving yourself to do it.
Yeah.
I know you say you drive quite a lot, so I imagine that means that you're obviously sat down. You're quite sedentary most of the week. I don't know. You could tell me I'm wrong, but when you're out of the car, you might be quite active for all I know.
Well, yeah, but it's like short burst of activity. Obviously, go round doing work, but they're like a half hour to an hour sort of out of the van, and then more driving again afterwards. So I'd say 75% of my day is spent sat down.
Yeah. So how do you counter that then? Is there anything specific you try to do in the meantime? Because obviously you have had results. It's not like you've said you've been up and down, but this season you've obviously been mostly down. So what have you done differently, or is there anything you try to do?
I've started going to the gym more when I can. Obviously, as most of you know, I've started doing like boxing. The boxing's been a massive help for me losing weight. I try and do that 2 to 3 times a week. It's massively intense, and my coach is amazing, pushes me really hard. So it's just another thing that I really enjoy, and they go hand in hand together, I suppose, and it's making me enjoy Man versus Fat more as well.
Cool.
Amazing. How did you get involved in that then? Is it just something that you...
I'll tell you, I used to walk around in my bedroom like pretending I was punching stuff, and just me being the person I am. And it was actually my partner said, I think you should give it a go. I think you'll enjoy it. And I was like, don't know. Again, going back to me being quite a shy person, I was like, not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got in touch with a guy. I'll give him a shameless plug. His name's Harry Hill, if anybody wants to have a look at him.
Not the comedian.
No, totally enough. Far from it. But when I spoke to him, he was really nice and friendly. I went in and had my first session, and I just absolutely loved it, and I've never looked back.
Fair play, mate. When did you start doing that?
I'm gonna say about 4 months ago, 3 months ago.
Wow, yeah. So it kind of coincides with roughly the start of this last season then that we've just finished.
So that's what I think kicked it all off. Obviously, it's the same. He makes sure I have to weigh in with him, not have to, and he keeps me on track with training, eating, making sure I am going down in the right direction. So like I say, they sort of go hand in hand together, and I think that's not the main reason, but sort of more so.
Oh, we've lost him.
No other reason why.
Oh no, he's there. He's back. This is fun. This is like
sorry,
really
go through
Jordy
patches.
This is shambles for me.
Sorry, we'll just fill in the gaps, mate. We'll fill in what you're saying.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
So with
That's it, really. Yeah. That's it, really.
So with the boxing, you're going to play? Are you planning to have an actual fight, or are you just going to stick to the training side of it?
Not really something I want to do. Not. I don't know. Maybe one day. But at the moment, no. I just want to train. I just enjoy the training side of it.
Yeah.
And
No
I
one
do
wants
like
to get
punching
punched
stuff.
in the
Don't
head.
get me wrong.
Yeah. Punching
no,
is
that's
all right,
it.
but
He
getting
doesn't-
punched in the face is bad.
Yeah, punching stuff that doesn't punch me back sounds really fun. Trying to punch something that punches you back doesn't sound as entertaining.
No,
to me,
I'm with you there,
Fair enough. Well, it's obviously done wonders for you, but in terms of like man v fat, then, because I know personally, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up. You can tell me, and I'll cut this if you want. But I know you'd considered on several occasions about whether you should be continuing with man v fat, because maybe there were points where you felt like it wasn't working for you, or you didn't feel like you could commit to it in the way that you wanted to. What's kind of kept you going? Obviously, you've got results flowing now, so what's kind of kept you going in the time?
Wow,
You had those moments.
like you lads, really. You know, like I've had a chat with many lads down there who all say the same. You know, like just stick at it; it'll all come good in the end. It was more so like if I couldn't commit weeks on end, I felt like I was being a burden to the team I was on, etc. You know, like always being a player down and stuff. But it's more to it than just turning up to play football, which is obviously what's really good about it. Everyone's so nice and friendly, and just keeps you like wanting to come back, I suppose, even though I couldn't commit full time to it at that time, I suppose, is the right way to word it. I don't really know.
Yeah. So how have you kind of dealt with that? Because I think that's quite. I know we've got people in this league who will sometimes struggle to commit, but I think we can probably fairly say, considering your name has become a bit of a synonymous with this, about how do you keep yourself motivated to keep going? Or how have you done to keep yourself motivated to stay involved?
It's just, again, I think it's just the lads. It's not me keeping myself motivated. I'm always unmotivated, but you got like the main chats, and then obviously you've got your own private team chats and stuff, and everybody's just so friendly and so welcoming. They're the ones that keep you motivated if you can't make it as such. And I think I'm getting smaller. I'm starting to feel like I'm getting slightly better at moving around the pitch, playing football and stuff. So it's making it easier for me to want to come each week rather than just coming because I'm paying for it, or
Yeah. Well, you were like a gazelle around the pitch on Monday, mate.
Honestly, I tried to play. My little brother, as some of you will know, is obviously he's quite talented, and he's got some friends that are the same. And I went to play six-a-side with them yesterday, and oh god, it really made me realise I'm not probably quite ready for that yet.
Surely it adds fresh motivation to get there.
Yeah, well that's it. Yeah. I mean, they're all the same. They were loving it. Me trying to run around the pitch and keep up with them, but.
Oh mate, I wouldn't even attempt to do that. So fair play.
Well, I should say, by the way, on the week we missed with the podcast, one thing that I was going to add was you had an absolute worldie of a game a couple of weeks ago. You scored like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I scored 4. Yeah, it was the best I've ever done. Do you know what? That's the good thing as well. Like everyone on the touchlines was like cheering me on and that, and it was just, it's really great. It's not normally me. I'm normally like, I just run about, get a bit tired, and then start walking around and stuff. But when everyone's there cheering you on from the side, you just got to keep going, haven't you? And, that was it. It was a new experience for me in some ways, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
God bless you, mate. It's great to see you down there with a big smile on your face. I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
You're super popular down there. So do keep going. Yeah. We love having you down there.
Yeah. Do you mind me asking you, what did you weigh when you started Man v Fat?
I I can never. I think it was something like 118 or 120 kilos or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously,
You know-
being 5'5", I mean, it probably doesn't. I mean, it's quite a lot, but being 5'5", that makes me quite quite large
That cocks your BMI up a little bit, doesn't it, mate?
for a small
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you at now then? You know.
96, I think, something like that.
Fair
96,
play, mate.
96.5. I also, so obviously, I had my dual bladder taken out, and I
Wow.
ballooned back
Wow.
up. I went back up. I think it was then, or maybe just before then, but I went up like well over what my original starting weight was.
Wow.
So I think me
Wow.
and the missus were working out the other day with something like 26, 27 kilos or something that I've lost now. So it's not too shabby.
Mate, that is
Wow, that's
pretty
really
impressive.
Yeah. I'll be really honest with you, Jordy. In a safe space, I consider that this is. I didn't realise it was as much as that, if I'm honest, because I knew you'd had your struggles, and I figured that you'd lost weight, but it wasn't. You know, it was 10 kilos or something like that over the time,
Yeah,
not 26
yeah.
kilos,
that's
which
massive.
is
Take that
extremely
number from-
impressive.
I know. I'm pretty sure it's 20. It's like 22 point something on the official Man versus Fat website thing, but I definitely went up heavier than what I originally started at one point.
Yeah,
so.
that will only take it
Yeah.
from your start weight. Yeah. So,
Okay. Well,
Wow.
what have you got? I mean, it's really impressive. I just can't say much else, really. Have you got a particular goal in mind? Is not necessarily an end target, although we all have that kind of roughly in the back of our minds.
So my
you
next
got
goal,
like
I
a-
think, is 90 kilos. Obviously,
Yeah.
my first goal recently was 100, and then I hit that, and I'd like to say not quite easily, but much easier than I thought it would be once I'd started putting my mind to it.
yeah.
And then I wanted 95 kilos, but I think I'm going to aim for 90 before I then decide what I'm going to try and do from then on. I don't want to lose all the weight and become really stick thin. That's not what I want to be. I just want to be a bit fitter and a bit thinner.
Fair enough, mate. So what clicks you? What I know you started the boxing, and that's helped you from a physical point of view, but what's clicked from a dietary point of view? Because we often say, it's not all about the exercise, it's all about what you eat as well. Have you made any sort of reasonable changes from a diet point of view?
If I'm going to be completely honest, I don't have a choice on what I eat. My missus makes me lunch and dinner.
Okay.
She makes sure that I'm eating the right amount of calories. Obviously, give or take certain things, but she does my lunches, she does the dinners. She makes sure that I'm eating well, not eating too much. A massive thing is I've cut Red Bull out quite drastically.
Okay.
I used to drink so many cans of Red Bull, but I try and limit myself to one a day, if not one a day, one every few days.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's
that's
hard
pure
when
sugar,
I'm
isn't
driving
it?
when I'm driving around and I'm getting tired. I don't drink coffee. The sugar-free drinks don't do it for me. Red
Right.
Bull is just my go-to thing. So I mean, obviously it's working somewhat. I just haven't limited myself to
Yeah.
more than.
Well, that's a change, isn't it? I mean, if you're having if you go from having 4 or 5 cans of Red Bull in a day to having 1, I mean, that's a huge change. The amount of sugar you're pumping into your body is drastically reduced.
Yeah. And I think
So
the
that's
end
good.
goal is to stop drinking them completely, but at the moment I'm not quite ready to do that. I can't
Weaning yourself off, mate.
I can't completely cut everything out, otherwise I'll just fail. So.
No,
No,
absolutely.
but I think we said this with Matt said this a couple of weeks ago. It's not about cutting out all those things. It's about reducing where necessary, reducing the excess, but also and potentially finding substitutes for some things. But it's about being able to include those kind of things in your normal diet and still keep it healthy and with the calorie control to a limit and that kind of thing. Yeah. And it sounds like whatever your missus is doing for you seems to be working a treat.
Yeah. Well, it really is. Because I've just, normally driving home from work, I'd stop and get a McDonald's or, them same sort of things. But now, because I know she's obviously took the time and effort to cook me a nice, healthy dinner, I try and avoid it as much as possible. Don't get me wrong, I don't always avoid it. Sometimes I still stop for a cheeky double cheeseburger or whatever, but who doesn't, eh?
Love it.
Lovely. So okay then. So you must obviously have quite a, as you mentioned, quite a calorie controlled diet. Is that something you keep an eye on, calories? I mean, or your missus keeps an eye on for you?
My missus does everything for me, mate. The only thing I'm in control of is how much water I drink in a day. But that's another thing. I never used to drink water. Now I try and drink between 2-3 liters a day. If I can get more in, great.
Yeah.
Some days, if I don't drink that much, it is what it is. As long as I get some in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you found you try and do to keep yourself on that track? Because I have to admit, I found in the past that trying to almost force myself to drink more water than I normally am used to is not particularly pleasant sometimes. And also just trying to find the right thing to keep reminding me in sometimes is a big thing.
To be fair, I've got like crates of water in the van, so they're just next to me. So, you know, when I have a little look in the mirror, I can see it out the corner of my eye, which would normally just remind me that I haven't drank any or I need to drink some. But I completely agree. Keeping on top of drinking enough water is like it's not fun.
No, it's weird, isn't it? Some people are quite happy just guzzling down bottles and bottles of water, and other people find it really hard. I really struggle with it. I mean, we've talked about it before. I always have a little bit of squash in my water because I'm not a massive water fan, but you have to consciously do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do. Is I just put a bit of squash in it just to give it something. So even if technically squash is essentially just sugar, it's still something that I'm adding in there that to give it a little bit of flavour. And I find it's much easier for me. It's not necessarily that I wouldn't be able to drink 1.5 litres, say, of water normally through a day. It's what pushes me between having 1.5 litres of having 2.5 litres.
Yeah.
If that makes any difference, in that sense.
Yeah, of course it does.
That's what I find anyway.
Yeah, we got the little Robinson squirty juice bottles. I got one in the van.
Nice. Yeah.
Just because I spend most of my life not most of my life, but you know, I do long hours and I'm always in the van.
Yeah, man.
I've got to have supplies in here as such.
Yeah. To be fair, I think I used to bump into a couple of people who I went to the pub and the dedication to bring their little Robinson squirties and just get a pint of water from behind the bar, you know, to keep it going, and they just slyly put their little thing, you know. So not that it's related at all in any way, but I do, you know, the dedication was always quite funny.
I mean, I don't mind drinking water as much as I used to now. Again, because I'm seeing benefits now, and I'm starting to notice a lot of different benefits from losing the weight that I have. I know it needs to go in, so it makes it a little easier. But some days I can drink 3 litres, no problem. Other days I'll drink 1 500ml bottle and just hate it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Just got to push yourself, really, haven't you? I suppose it's all it is in everything.
Yeah, it's being committed, isn't it? And it's interesting that it takes people different lengths of time for it to click. Some people it clicks really quickly, other people it takes time. And clearly from your point of view, you know, you've gone through 8 seasons or so before you finally found something that's clicked. But the real great thing about that is that you have stuck to it, even though through the hard times and you thought about backing out, you have stuck to it, and now you're seeing the benefits of it. I mean, that speaks volumes about you, mate, and about your character and about your kind of drive to actually do what you set out to do. So you've got to be massively commended for that, mate, and huge congratulations. I mean, 26 kilos is nothing to sniff at, man. That's huge weight loss.
I'm still disappointed in myself. Honestly, I think, I don't know, I've got to see the bigger picture sometimes. But like I said from the beginning, if I don't have the big weekly losses, I feel like I've done something wrong. Whereas I know I haven't, but it's just my mindset. I need to be hitting 1 kilo plus a week loss to feel like it's worth it as such.
And that's when you're bigger numbers, though. I think as your numbers start to come down a little bit, I think your mindset might change a little bit on that.
I think so. I keep getting shouted at by several people, so I think so. Yeah.
I think it's not for me. It's what works for you. To a point. Like some people I can understand. I'm one of these people who tends to encourage people to see the big picture when you're talking about these kind of things, admittedly. But if you find that the drive for you to be, I need to be over a kilo's lost this week, or I'll do X, Y, Z, is keeping you going, keeping you motivated, then that's and it's obviously working for you, then that's the thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
So,
No,
but
yeah,
I do understand that mindset. I do understand that disappointment, because you want to try and push yourself and get through it quickly, almost, you know, of a benefit to yourself and others around you. But I do also think sometimes there's an element of it's a balance. It's like pushing yourself too hard and being too hard on yourself versus not hard enough, and then maybe being a bit lax. And if you feel like you found that balance in the middle, then good, you know, all the best to you, mate. I think that's brilliant, you know.
I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, I don't do anything special or anything different, I suppose, to what I used to do, apart from watch what I'm eating and exercise a little bit more.
That's the key, mate.
I was starting to do weight training, but I noticed that was hindering the scale numbers a little bit, so I've stopped doing that for a bit until I get to where I'm happy with. Just simply, again, because I want to see the scales come down. That's my main goal. So.
Well, you're absolutely smashing it, dude. So we're expecting a big season from you this season. You've already gone, what was he, second on total percentage weight loss last season, mate?
I was never catching up with Matt, was I? So.
No, sadly you come up against quite a monster of an opponent there. We're still in awe of what he's done. But I mean, even so, buddy, to be over 10% in a season, you know, that's a huge amount of weight.
Yeah, thanks.
And looking good for it, mate. I've got to be honest, you're looking good, looking trim.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting there. I mean, like I said, I'm still not that happy, but I am much happier than I was. Yeah. So I suppose it's a start. It's a start.
Yeah, man.
I mean, keep going, mate. I mean, I have to admit, 26 kilos for me would have taken me from a start to under 100 kilos. So just under 100 kilos, to give you an idea. And I would have been fucking thrilled, to be honest.
Yeah,
if I was there at this point, absolutely over the moon. So, and I'm not close to that at the moment. So, you know, it's phenomenal, mate. I have to, as I said, I was slightly surprised by the number, but not in a bad way, just more because I know you've had struggles about before. So it's just amazing to hear, to be honest. I didn't realize it was as much as that. So it's phenomenal.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah. In the remaining few minutes I've got with you, I just want to ask you, is there anything you particularly struggle with still? Now, I know your schedule is going to be a big part of that, but is there anything particular day to day that crops up that you find yourself struggling with to stay on track?
My main issue is sweets and crisps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No matter what I do, I could eat, you know, the biggest, healthiest dinner. I need to eat sweets afterwards or before bed, or just any time of the day I can get my hands on sweets, to be fair.
What are we talking here? We're talking jellies, Haribos, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, anything that's sweet, just not hard sweets. Like
jellies,
rocky sweets, but jelly sweets, especially sour jelly sweets.
Mate.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I think really that's my biggest issue, is just to still, like, snacking and stuff. I still do a fair amount of stuff that I shouldn't do. You know, quickly stop at the petrol station, get some fuel, and I'll buy a bag of sweets and a big bag of crisps while I'm in there. Or
just stop yourself doing it.
It's like my device or something. If I'm having a bad day, I'll turn to a bag of sweets. But I mean,
have you tried the sugar-free sweets? Have you tried the sugar-free jellies?
Can't say. I mean, I probably have without realising, but I don't know.
Because there are some. I mean, you've got the sort of weigh it up whether you want to eat the fake sweeteners, because they're not particularly great for you. I think the one they use generally in jellies is like sorbitol, which is not great. But if you have any gut issues, that might cause it. But you can get them in most supermarkets, and then the calories are much lower. But you have obviously got to weigh up the kind of artificial sweetener side of it. But it might be worth a go, mate. Give them a try.
The problem is, if I go to the supermarket when we do like the weekly shop, and I'll buy a selection to last me the week, they don't last me the week.
No, it's always a way.
Yeah.
So,
Nail 'em
because
all in one sitting.
I don't eat them all the time, but I think it's one of them. Like if I start, I binge and I'll eat.
Squashies, mate, they're the ones.
I love squashies.
Yeah.
Any
They're
flavour,
fucking
any
addictive.
flavour. any sweet, mate. Honestly, it's terrible. Honestly, just walk around with sweets in my pockets, mate, just like a child, just eating sweets all
So
day.
do you find it's worse for you if you buy stuff in a weekly shop and then don't, like, you eat through it a little bit and then go out and buy more, or do you find it's worse not having them at all and then you buy consistently all the time? Like, what I mean is to say, which do you think is the worst option?
I think personally for myself, it would be buying like a week's supply on a weekly shop, because they'll be gone in a day or two. At least sometimes if I'm craving sweets but I can't be bothered to go to the shop, they're not there to eat, so I'll just get over it.
Yeah, the effort barrier is too high for your squashies.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it depends what sort of day I've had, but I mean, not 99% of the time I'll go to the shop. Doesn't matter, but sometimes I don't bother. So
Yeah,
I definitely think a weekly shop is worse for me.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that. I have no control over things like sweets, squashes, jellies, that kind of stuff. If they're in the house, I will seek them out and I will eat them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you put them. I'm like a sniffer dog, man. I'll find them.
Yeah. I feel your pain, mate.
But
Well,
I mean, other than that, and sugary drinks. I drink sugary drinks every day. It's probably a bit of a burden on myself, because I probably drink more than I should. But like I said, I've cut them down massively. So next step is just to cut them down even more. Because it's not necessarily just Red Bull. Sometimes I'll grab a can of Coke or like a Lucozade, but I sometimes don't grab the sugar-free one. And, they're all filled with sugar. So
Yeah. Well, things like Lucozade Sport are huge. Lucozade Sport and Red Bull are pure sugar. I mean, they're like ridiculous amounts. And at the end of the day, it is a drug. So it works like a drug, and you do get addicted to it, and you do go cold turkey on sugar. So to cut it back or cut it down rather than cut it out completely is much better. So you're doing absolutely the right thing, dude, in trying to cut it back a little bit. Just
slowly
you do
but
what
surely,
you need
as
to
they
do.
say.
Yeah. But sugar cravings are definitely a thing. But a lot of people struggle with
it. It's the headaches that get me the worst.
Yeah.
If I'm driving along and I've got a real bad headache, and I know it's because, mentally I think it's because I haven't had a Red Bull for a day or two, I'll just go and buy one just to solve the issue.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not worth it.
It's caffeine for Red Bull, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the caffeine even affects me anymore. I think I honestly drank that many of them. I think it's more so, it probably is just the sugar in them. And I do like the taste of them. I mean, I do enjoy a Red Bull. It's not something that I drink for the sake of it. I do enjoy it. That's why I can't drink the sugar-free ones, because they're not the same.
No, it's true.
If you don't drink Red Bull, I don't think you'll understand. But the taste is so much different. It's just not the same.
Yeah, not there yet. Well, it seems like your missus is helping you out with the food to the point where,
fair
at
play.
the moment at least, these things are it's usable within your diet at the moment. Especially with your box of size and things like that to do it. Yeah.
Getting away with it more at the moment, because obviously I'm still quite heavy again for my size, my height. But soon enough, it's going to be one of them where I probably am going to have to stop, or it's going to have to be like a weekend treat or something, rather than every other day or whatever.
Yeah. You have to try and research alternatives or something like that to as the weight comes off a bit more. It obviously will probably get slightly more difficult to keep those included in the.
But my wife must be super proud of you, buddy, because she often comes down to football, doesn't she, on a Friday?
Yeah, I mean, she's the one that I think keeps me realising that I'm going in the right direction and not disappointed in myself, because she does everything. She measures me once a week and all sorts. So she's definitely a good girl.
She's a keeper, mate.
Oh yeah. Been with her 10 years in January, mate. So.
Oh, love that, dude.
I don't think she's going anywhere. Or should I say, I'm not going anywhere.
Mate. Good.
On that note, mate, time is up for myself in particular, and for this week's pod, I would say thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it, especially given, and it will be a good laugh for the community about how the one pod we had to get someone in, like as in someone turns up halfway through the pod and it's you, mate.
It's just typical standard for me, isn't it? So
it's all right, mate. Yeah. Live up to your name, son.
Yeah, that's it. Well, like I said, I do apologise, mate. I was making good time to get back, but
don't be silly.
Things happened, and I sat on the
it makes it better, in my opinion.
Yeah, brilliant.
A little less time with you, which is not so good, but a little more authentic to the true Jordy life.
That's it. Well, thanks for having me, lads. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, bless you, mate. Thank you so much for coming
mate.
on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And congratulations on what you've got to so far. And I'm
fantastic.
Really looking forward to seeing you continue to progress. And
hopefully.
I know based on your sideline reactions recently, the whole community is behind you, mate. Yeah, I think you can
definitely
guarantee that.
I've definitely noticed, mate. It doesn't go missed. I get all shy on the pitch, mate. I do, and people are shouting and cheering.
Nah, you keep going, son.
Yeah, cheers, lads.
Anyway, thank you very much, lads. Thank you, Jordy. Thank you, Ben.
My pleasure.
Week.
Lovely to be here.
We will be back midweek next week for a kind of shortened awards special from us and to run through our Merseyside Bournemouth as we're on a week or a friendly week this week, so there won't be any.
So we've got the awards,
any official sessions to run through
this weekend, right? So we'll do a little a rerun of those and talk about the coming season and our expectations.
Yeah, and maybe get into a small review of last as well. We haven't managed to go through today. So look out for that one. And then
nice one.
In future after that, we'll bring along some more fantastic guests like Jordy here, to listen to and to heed some wisdom from.
Try.
All right, mate.
Bye.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, Joshy.
Thanks, mate.
Bye.
Bye.